Hi guys, it's Kathy. I don't have time to show the whole hearing for this video, but I will be playing it during my live stream tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here we go.
What I did was unforgivable. So the calmness that they're showing and the patience that they're showing, I appreciate. Like I have a daughter, which I'm not making an excuse for it. I'm saying if that happened to a woman in my family or even to myself, like I don't know how I would deal with that. Like that's traumatizing for life. How do you go to bed after that and not be scared that could happen again? Not from me, not just from me, but from somebody else. And I was thinking about from the other side, like if that happened to my daughter, like I don't care what excuse it was for mental health. Like, bro, you're no, that's unforgivable. So I appreciate. I hope that God could put forgiveness in their heart and heal them. I got to deal with my own stuff. My own stuff is not an excuse for what happened. No matter how bad my mental health gets or what I've been through, they should never have to experience that. My stuff should never have to carry over to anybody else. So yeah, the deal is glad that they said it's fitting. It's a lenient item. I'm so sorry, and it is unforgivable. So I'm like asking for forgiveness, but like don't expect it. My bad. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not crying till I don't feel sorry for me. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know how to express it. I believe in God. I'm gonna have to answer this to God one day, and like standing in front of God on Judgment Day. Like I have no excuse for this. I have no excuse. So I hope I could pay penalty in this life and be forgiven for the next one, and I hope I could do better and not mess up anymore and not do stupid things and take care of not only myself, but like just sorry. I need to do better, and I should have realized. And I'm sorry. I don't know. I wish I had the words for it, but it's unforgivable. I'm sorry. May God have mercy, please, and y'all have mercy on me too, please. I'm sorry to the people of Colorado. I'm sorry to these women. I'm sorry to y'all, Your Honor. I'm sorry to my parents, my family. I apologize. Thank you for the time.
I believe this agreement is appropriate given Mr. Vihil's criminal history and the fact that he was on parole at the time of this offense. I'll note that the victims will speak to how this impacted them and what they'd like to see here, but we spoke extensively about this case and how to resolve this case. Mr. Vihil did break the glass door to their home and in the middle of the night and stand over them in their bedroom. And I think that was really the heart of what makes this so scary as a young woman in their home. And the act of breaking that glass kind of, it scares people into knowing that whoever has entered their home is not afraid of violence. And I think that's really what the focus has been on here. And in the light of Mr. Vihil's actions in this case and his criminal history, I would ask the court to accept this agreement, and I will hand it over to the victims.
Yeah, it's both of us. It's Maya and Stephanie.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. I do remember your statements last time. I'm glad you could be here today. What would you like me to know?
I just wanted to say that I really don't think it was a simple mistake or a moment of poor judgment. I heard what he had to say, and I do think it was a violent burglary. He grabbed a river rock from our backyard, shattered our glass door. Like we heard heavy footsteps, and in one of our, in our safe place. And as we called 911, he kicked open our bedroom door, and he was just staring at us, holding a bag and wearing a hoodie. And we were completely terrified. And just moments later, when we're trying to get to a safe space, like in our own home. He's in the, on our doorstep. And I think, and he actually did take something from our house as well. He took our vape, and we have it on camera, on Ring. So I think he was, I mean, I don't know what his intentions were, but we're psychologically scarred. I mean, there's no excuses for, what he did. And I definitely, understand the court's compassion for, people who are battling mental health, but, I don't think it should be compassionate enough to, endanger innocent people, like Steph and I, and holding him accountable and making sure, he gets a treatment. I think there's a balance, for both public safety and also his needs. And I just wanted to, request, like, we don't want any further harm to happen. I know he grew up in the home, like it's not his home. And now there's tenants in there, and I respectfully ask the court, if there could be strict no contact, no approach orders, and also just ensure that he, that the sentence reflects the true severity of the crime that he committed. I don't know, Steph, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I understand like both sides of this situation, but at the end of the day, Mr. Vigil has a record, a criminal record. He was on a parole when he broke into our home, and that just kind of shows that he's constantly out here committing crimes. And it's just something that we've taken into consideration as we've been working with our representation. And I believe the plea deal that's on the table is something that sufficiently accounts for the crime that we're talking about today.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you being here today. I appreciate you taking accountability. I don't hear many people addressing the victims and the impact it's had on them as much as you have today. So I appreciate you see the impact that you've had here. The details of this case are concerning, that from the victim's perspective, that you broke through their back door in the middle of the night with a rock, and you were holding a bat, wearing a hoodie. Certainly that would terrify to your point, any person, but especially women. I did note in your the bond advisement report that you have at least 5 prior felonies. I also recognize that this was likely the result of some mental health issues. I don't disagree with your attorney that our system just lacks the resources we need, because that's really the goal, is to get treatment and to appropriately punish so that these things don't happen again. So when I look at the sentencing factors in 18-1-102.5, when we're talking about punishing a convicted offender by imposing a sentence that he deserves in relation to the seriousness of the offense, I think that the plea agreement is appropriate in that regard. The offense was seriousness, and this is contemplating 3 years in the Department of Corrections. I've considered all of the factors, but I hope that also this provides an effective deterrent for others likely to commit similar offenses, and is, I think, to the best that we can, it addresses your individual characteristics, because probation wouldn't be appropriate here, and it sounds like community corrections wouldn't be an option. And so, hopefully you can get some treatment in the Department of Corrections. And I think it promotes acceptance of responsibility and accountability by offenders, and hopefully will provide restoration and healing for Stephanie and Maya in this case, and will attempt to reduce recidivism. So I think this is an appropriate plea agreement when considering the case file and the sentencing factors. I'll sentence you to 3 years in the Department of Corrections with 2 years of mandatory parole. I'll give you credit for 151 days. Is there anything else on our end? Anything else from the parties? All right, Mr. Vigil, I wish you the best of luck. The same for Stephanie and Maya. All right, good luck to you.
All right.
So it was his childhood home. They said he had a mental health episode and went back to his childhood home in a hoodie with a baseball bat and broke the door? No, come on. Come on. He was already on parole for other crimes. Yes, he was crying. Yes, he was sorry. Yes, we don't see that much. But you get to hear the defense attorney give his spiel tomorrow morning during my stream where I can play the whole thing. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye.